You wouldn't think that a show based on over-sexualizing favourite child candies would hit in the feels, and it doesn't. It just ruins childhood memories and crushes on nostalgia. But hey, at least it's a pretty fucking good rom-com. Welcome to the world of Dagashi Kashi, a walking, talking drama fest of an advertisement which hides one of the cutest and saddest romances I've ever watched, under a river of shitty B-movie jokes about sex in the countryside. The star of this shit show is none other than Kokonotsu Shikada, an up-and-coming manga artist who wants to move to Tokyo to pursue his dream. The whole premise of this show is forcing him not to do what he loves. You see, his father owns a sweet shop in the countryside of Japan, and his modus operandi is for Kokonotsu to inherit the shop that's been in the family for, 8 generations, and he's willing to do whatever's necessary to get that to happen. Emotional blackmail, eating nothing but candy for days, or straight up fucking disappearing for weeks on end. Part of the fucking decade, I tell you. Story's in a good fucking business. There are like 3 customers the whole show, and their biggest consumer is the fucking father who eats off their stock. There's no money, no demand, and the shop's just an abject shithole where things just break constantly. There's no AC, and it's the middle of fuck nowhere. Nothing's worked so far. Kokonotsu wants to do a thing he loves in life, and his father can't stop him. Or can he? What's the best way to trick a 15-year-old into reckless actions that'll ruin his life? That's right, honey traps. And drugs. For those of you who don't know who these are, search it up or something, because I'm introducing the second best girl of the whole show, Hotaru. There are only 2 girls in the whole show. Hotaru's character can be summarised in 2 sentences: obsessed with candy and completely brain deficient. The daughter of an old rival slash friend of Kokonotsu's father, she's a child his father wishes Kokonotsu was. She's also got the temper and maturity of an 8-year-old, because she seems to be able to entertain herself completely with the most brain-dead and child-oriented snack toys imaginable. She's basically at the level of my baby cousin, who I can just hand some shitty toy I got from McDonald's or something, and he can fuck about with it for an hour while I go on my phone. Or maybe that's just me being a terrible babysitter, but he's 8 and also he doesn't exist because I made him up for the sake of this bit. But regardless, I'm sure you get the point I'm trying to make. She's not exactly the brightest star to ever grace the land we walk on, but at least she's kind of funny. Did I mention she's also voiced by the same voice actress as Nina from Concentric Quintuplets? That raises her a couple of points at least. Anyway, Hotaru's aim, just like everybody else on the show, is to get Kokonotsu to quit his dream and run the shop. She says it's because she needs him to be competition to her, which I don't know how that works given she's the heir to one of the largest candy companies in the country and he sells out of a fucking glorified shed. But I prefer the theory that she just really, really hates him. Because, and this is a big spoiler, right at the end of the show, Kokonotsu falls in love with Hotaru and decides to stay and work the shop instead of moving to the city. And what does she do? She leaves to the city, where she just convinced him not to go. Of course you do have the traditional hinting, oh she'll return, but what the hell is this supposed to be as an ending? I wasn't happy with this shit, especially because Saya didn't even win. Damn it, I haven't even introduced Saya yet. Saya, simply put, is the best fucking girl. Plain and simple. She's the younger sister to one of his best friends, and she is just the sweetest girl I've ever seen in anime. She's so damn cute and she likes him so much. And like all best girls in anime, she loses. Before I get to that, let's talk romance. Every anime has it in some way or another these days. And usually it's us. Love interests that are more 1D than 2D. Generic characters, way too many tsunderes, and dear god, what the fuck is this? But Dagashi Kashi brings a fresh of breath air by using yet another tsundere, and she's about as unique as your average piece of werewolf erotica off Wattpad. But the romance in this show is goddamn good. It's well written and it's carefully thought out. I think. The best way I can express this is that the author of this wrote this, and this is good. Somehow, the story of Saya loving Kokonotsu, which is a side plot to Kokonotsu falling for Hotaru, which is a side plot of the main story, is more compelling than most shows entirely built around it. And Hotaru is a really good, unfortunately too good love rival to her. Man, the stupid premise got me into this, but the romance kept me hooked. Although this was during the pandemic, so I was doing fuck all anyway during online classes, so I probably would have watched it anyway, even if it was garbage. Also, despite what I said at the start, it's only sad because the best girl loses for no reason. And if you preferred Hotaru, well fuck you. You still have good taste. Now the one question that leaves most people confused. Why does what is functionally an animated ad on nostalgia bait candy have such fucking great characters? Well, you see, the answer is that there are literally 3 of them. Plus 2 side characters. No other people exist in the user's world. And I don't count the second season because I haven't watched it, and I won't because I read the manga and so they just don't exist to me. It's not hard to feel more attached to characters or experience a larger portion of the personality if they have an absolute fuck ton of screen time. Sometimes too much screen time. Anyway, I can't lie, the humour in this show is pretty ass. It's not exactly bad, but it's targeting people who ate candy nobody's eaten for the last decade, but with jokes that are either complete nostalgia bait or aimed at somebody the level of a child. Case in point, hey, you want me to make you an adult? Yes. Fuck yes. Cool, let's drink fake beer snack ties. God damn it. That's the level of shit we're dealing with here. But to balance out the fair bit of criticism I've just been dumping on this show, holy fuck, the art is great in this. Like, man, it is good. Again, from the author of Call of the Night, so this was to be expected to some extent, but damn, they are very nice. Although I've got to say, for some reason, Sai's pupils are just really small compared to literally anybody else on the whole show. And it's, like, you notice it. But fuck it, at this point, just call it part of a character, I'm not complaining. If you ask me to say what I remember about Dagashi Kashi 2 years after watching it, without factoring the wiki score and the 2 anime recaps I watched, I'd say best girl loses, good character design, bad jokes. It's a pretty forgettable show for the most part, and if it weren't for Saya, I don't think I'd even continued past the halfway point of the show. Then again, I was a degenerate anime goblin back then, so I probably would have watched the fuck out of it anyway, regardless of the quality. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and see you next Friday.